Let's just call this Money Making Mondays. Money Making Mondays. That's what we're going to call today. Good morning, Discounted Diva. Good morning, Queen. How are you? We're going to call this Money Making Mondays because it is the one day of the week that a lot of people like to run away from. They hate it. I know I hated Mondays when I didn't do what I was loving to do. So, but you can change that if you want to, if you're willing to tap in. So, good morning, guys. My name is Lucretia Thomas. I am a licensed insurance agent in the states of Pennsylvania, Connecticut, North Carolina, and Georgia. I am your financial coach. I am an author. I'm a speaker. I love to teach. I love to connect. I love the hunt of entrepreneurship. I love more discipline, more sacrifice, more mindset shifting, control of my life, my money, my bags, my freedom. I am a connector. I love people. You may not be for me, but you may be for someone that I know. So that's just me. I am all things money and mindset. Good morning, bro. Assalamu alaikum. I'm all things money and mindset. So, what I'm talking about today, always y'all know this is my platform, so I talk about what I want to talk about. Um, this is a very transparent place, and I talk the real. I talk about what's not talked about because that's what we need to talk about. We often run away from a lot of things that's very important. And being consistent in doing so, I've built a phenomenal audience that of supporters. I'm very grateful, thankful for you guys. Some people want to be involved in the real, some people don't. People will pass around the entertainment video and share it with everybody, and they'll laugh on it. And it'll be a topic of their discussion for about 30 minutes of their day, right? But if you share something and is not really entertaining, but it has a lot of purpose behind it. If you shoot a message to somebody that you know of where you used to be versus where you are now, and you say, look, I have this amazing opportunity, phenomenal thing that's going on, whatever the case may be, is that a topic of discussion for them? And even if they're going through hardship at the moment, no, it's not going to be, because people run away from the real. They want entertainment. People pay for entertainment versus paying for what the resources and tools that they need. So that's why staying true to who you are and what you do will alleviate all of those that you're not for. And that's exactly what I've been doing the last 10 years in business, but the last 3 years really hard in finances, because this subject is definitely not for everybody. They're not going to tune in. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose people. And that's just what it is. I'm going to talk about relationships and money today. Something that you guys don't talk about. We don't even know what it looked like sometimes. We just know we fall in love with a person, get with them, and oh, that's the love of my life. I'm going to marry him. And you don't even have a conversation about money. You don't know what his credit score like. You don't know what his longevity, what he got plans for his life. You don't be knowing nothing. Good morning, bro. You don't be knowing nothing. So it's 2021. Knowing somebody's financial situation is extremely important to yours, right? Because whether you're currently in the moment of where you want to be in life, or whether you're on the road of going on that journey to where you want to be, good morning, healings and happiness. You may be on a journey of going where you want to be in life, far as financially. But if you hook up with a person and meet somebody randomly, or you decide to get married, whatever the case may be, you have somebody you really connected to, you feeling them, you want to take it to the next level. They doing all the things that you love. They telling you everything you want to hear, all of this, right? You're like, oh, it's an instant connection. But you never have the conversation about money. You never have a financial conversation to say, um, just peek, like just say stuff, try to figure out where they're at the moment. I don't never beat around the bush. I'm like, what you got going on, what you do. With your credit, like what you doing? Like you have a job, that's fine. Everybody's not a business owner. It's cool. You got a job, like long as you're doing something, what do you do for a living? Oh, well, then you start talking, you learn people, figure out what their longevity goals are and all of that, because sometimes you don't align with people. You might align with the opposite person that you're connected to for the moment. It may be a short-term thing, but y'all may not be going the same way longevity wise down the road. She may be the girl that want the white picket fence. You may be the guy that's like, that's not what you're trying to do. You might want to get it out the mud for the next 10 years. She might want the white picket fence and the horses and the 6 kids in the next 5 years. So how does that work? It's not a fit. But again, if you don't have the conversation, then you never know what the other person, what their interest is. So birth people, responsibilities and finances, checking your progress, paying your stuff on time. And paying your stuff on time is a huge one because, credit is everything. So keeping intact with your credit, because this is, the thing that a lot of people don't understand this, right? So you could be going through a hard time in life, money not coming in as you need it to be. You're doing that 5 side hustles. You're trying to just figure and balance this thing out. Meanwhile, you might have just bought a new home. You might just got a new car. You need brakes, rotors. You need all this stuff done. You might need $300 to pay your auto guy, whatever the case may be, and that's your means of getting to your money and things like that. The thing that you have to understand, if you need really, your hands on some quick funds, or having money at home, or having cards to swipe and so forth, leveraging good credit, then you'll be fine. So, even for us women, sometimes a woman, if you in a relationship with a guy and, or that's your man, he got money, whatever the case may be, sometimes as being a woman, is at any point where we take any burdens off of them, make sure we got good credit too. He doing a lot. He holding down the household. He paying the mortgage. He paying the bills. He feeding the kids. He dressing everybody. Y'all shopping. Everybody living good and all of these things, right? So at what point do you make sure you as the woman have good credit and you have everything in order, so when you need to bust a move or small stuff like that need to get done, you be able to move out? I highly encourage you guys for that one, because some women feel like, some of y'all online right now may feel like that. They may feel like their man is supposed to do every single thing for them. It's agree to disagree. That's your opinion. I don't think that you should put that much pressure on a man to do every single thing for you that should be done. That's just my personal opinion. So the biggest concerns and keeping secrets, and the reason I wanted to talk about this too was because I was reading this article. So if you're on my email list, I shared the article with you. If you're online and you're not currently on my email list, click the link in my bio. And hello, good morning. Click the link in my bio and get on my email list so you can get access to free finance tips, 60 ways of cutting back. I have a millionaire mindset up there. Of course, we have the financial planner. If you haven't gotten your copy of the 12-month financial planner, click the link in the bio to my website and go check out the freebies and things like that to stay connected. So if you're on the email list, I sent out this amazing, crazy article about the percentage of divorce rates due to finances. 50% of divorce rates due to finances. And again, I just elaborated on it a little bit from a perspective of, meeting someone, not asking questions and getting to know who they are, what their goals are, and, what do they want to do in life? What currently do they have going on? When you don't ask questions, you don't know what's going on. You can't just assume that you meet a guy and he look like he's pretty wealthy, he's pretty wealthy, or not even that. You make like, oh, he look like he might got some money, or he got a house, or he might got some stuff going on. You have to ask questions. You don't know who name this stuff is in. I'm not like you. Soon as you meet a person, you need to be all in their business. But if you're with somebody and You're spending your time taken away from your children, taken away from perfecting your skill, which is going to generate more income to your house and building your empire and your legacy. If you're taking away your valuable time, your asset, you're a game player. You are the topic of discussion. You are of value. So if you're taken away from what you're doing to be in that person's space and shift in that environment, if that's what you choose to do, then you need to use your time wisely. Why? Because a lot of things you could have figured out from the beginning, but sometimes we get caught up. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with asking certain type of questions and things like that. But you need to know what you're getting into. For some people, they may be married already. Some people may be married already, and I just told y'all 50% of divorce rates come is due to financial hardship, having a lot of secrets when it comes to the money. You guys can, sometimes you might have just been with a person for so long, right? I might have been together like, oh, I've been my husband 10 years, we've been together 5 years, all this, like, but the thing is, without the communication, you don't know what's going on because y'all might have started one place coming into the relationship, getting married 5 years ago. Y'all might have been at one place at first in the beginning. Everything aligned. Y'all, had the same goals. Y'all wanted the same things. Everything worked out. You had a baby, you bought a house, both of y'all got brand new cars, y'all got careers, everything going strong, right? 3-4 years down the line, if you don't communicate, you don't know where you and that person are if y'all are still connected. 2 or 3 years is really a long time because a lot can Yo, listen, I'm gonna be so real with y'all. A lot can change in 3 months. Like, how fast life is consistently shifting and evolving. That's why you need to be in communication with your partner, whether it be your spouse, business partners, friends, all that kind of stuff. That you need to be in communication as much as possible if need be. Good morning, self-made. Because this is the thing, things can shift really quick. Like I said, you may be with a person and everything is golden in the beginning. Y'all both aligned. Y'all started tackling y'all goals. Y'all happily in love. Like this is the thing. This is it. And then people will be like, oh, 2-3 years down the line, it shifted. It's not what it was, but it been shifted probably 6 to 9 months in a relationship. But due to the lack of communication, y'all didn't really know what was going on because everything was just going with the flow. When you go with the flow, you are telling the other person that, let's just leave this like this. I'm comfortable, or you mentally telling yourself that you don't want to attack what's going to come with saying if you're not comfortable. So in all reality, like that just means a little bit like you don't want to put the work in because you don't want to be aware of the unknown. You don't want to be made aware that he's not concerned about paying off student loans. His thing is let's put him in deferment or let's play bare minimum and just keep building our credit. You may not want to, you may not want to be aware of the fact that his goal isn't to pay off the Mercedes Benz in the next 2-3 years. You may want to just, rock out and keep rocking out and paying the note. And, I love this car, you like, I want to keep it for the rest of my life. So you not bringing stuff up and not having the conversation, you're not aware what the other person is thinking. So going with the flow is really bad too because you sending mixed signals, or you're not sending mixed signals going with the flow. But when you go with the flow, you're basically saying, let's just keep it how it is. And then 6 months to a year down the line, you're like, oh my God, this been going on forever. Sis, you never said nothing, but you've been peeped it. Y'all know we got to be real with ourselves first. We have to be real with ourselves first. So I'm going to give you guys a couple tips. The reason I chose to talk about money secrets and relationships because it's 50% of the divorce rates right now. Like, a lot of people through the pandemic, marriages or relationships may have stuck together because they really needed each other. They may really needed each other's income to stick through this COVID thing together, because she might couldn't make it without his income. She couldn't hold everything down in the house without him. He might have, was in transition of switching jobs, and business is not going as it should. So he might couldn't make it without her. So a lot of times, like, even though people may not be happy, they choose to stick it in and may have had to make it work due to financial reasons. And to me, I think that's settling. Sometimes it's like you do have to do what you have to do, not like go homeless or go live in a hotel just because you like, this is not going to work. Everybody opinion of it is different. Me personally, I think that when you live under those circumstances for a long time, that is called settling. When you're saying, oh, I'm going to be with him for right now, even though I don't love him, even though I'm not really attracted to him, I'm gonna be with him for right now because he's holding the weight. I really can't afford it. My personal opinion, with the way my heart is set up, and my level of growth and my level of discipline, and the way my mindset is set up, what I would do is downgrade my living situation. If I had to at least be able to keep the car to get to work or whatever the case may be, to get to some money. But if I had to downgrade my situation and walk away from him and go in an apartment and make sure that me and my child was fine, and I was still happy, then and that's something that I would be willing to do. Now, your early 20s and stuff like that may not be something that you're willing to do. Everybody is different, but it's deep, guys. Like, you have to sit back and ask yourself, if you're in that situation, what are we really doing? Like, for real, what are we really doing? So I want to share some tips with y'all about these secret money secrets and relationships. So the first one is, this was a fun one, and I think it's really good. The suggestion and the idea was to have money dates. So have a day where you and your spouse, or maybe somebody you're seeing at the time, however you live, whatever you're doing. Well, really, it's probably for a spouse, because if it's somebody that you really don't know like that, you probably might not want to have a money date with them. But if it's your spouse, so in order, like, I think first coming in, if it's new, you should do it. Or maybe you've been together for a while and you kind of like, we need to sit and, focus on our personal and finance situations. Have money dates. Those of you that's online right now, do you think having a money date with your spouse is an awesome idea? Do you think that's something fun that you would want to do? Have a money date with your spouse. This is the thing, guys. We as a people get caught up so much into what other people's perspective of us is. So we love to put, our best clothes on, and put our red bottoms on, wear our bags, and, get our hair done, our lashes done, all of this stuff, right? We love to do all of those things and get pretty, and go on a date with our man and our spouse, and go out and show the world, like, oh, we this power couple. Oh, yeah, we doing this, we doing that. And we love to do stuff like that, right? To cover up all of the real stuff that's going on. So we love to do that. So why can't we put the same energy into having a money date with your spouse, where y'all sit down, really focus on real stuff and what's going on, not just to build longevity and keep communication in a relationship, but to really better both of y'all lives in a way that is not so loud to the world, but is loud to both of y'all, because it's a key factor in the home. So why can't you be comfortable with having a money date with your spouse, where y'all sit down? It may be over breakfast, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, or something like that. Why we can't just talk about, it ain't like an hour or a judgmental agree to disagree thing, go back and forth. Maybe 30 minutes over breakfast or something like that. What's the issue in having a money date with your spouse or your partner, and y'all just talk about, well, what's going on in the home? What are retirement accounts looking like? Have you pulled yours from your job lately? What does your 401k look like? Oh, well, I want mine to be at XYZ. by 10 years from now? Okay, what yours look like? Oh, well, if we haven't done these, let's attack these things now. Let's, really stop worrying about the what's going on in the world that's so loud, and really strap down and focus on our personal life. Why can't we talk about that? Instead of just living and go with the flow. Then one of y'all get sick, and somebody transition, and then nobody knows where nothing is, or oh, we had, we should have did this. And 30 minutes over breakfast, a money date with your spouse, I think is pretty fun and cool, depending on what you do and if you make it fun. Not like an integration, like y'all both sitting across the table, nobody want to look at each other, or you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I paid the cable bill late. He knew I was supposed to pay the cable. Oh my God, I ain't do it. Like, just put all of that behind and not really focus or dwell on, what's going on at the moment. But do you talk about longevity financial goals with your spouse? I think creating a fun money date is an awesome thing. And the second one is pay bills together. Practice practical things like paying debt and stuff like that. So number two is kind of like, it depends on the household. So some people, um, the husband pays all of the bills. The spouse may pay the bills, wife might pay you, or this is the way I've heard it, the most common way I've heard it. Husband pays the mortgage and the wife pays the utilities. Husband pays the mortgage, car payments, and wife pays the utilities, the small bills. That's the most common way I've heard it in a married household. So I personally don't think that it's nothing wrong with women contributing and paying small stuff to the household. Again, it's the mindset of the woman. Some women think that the men are supposed to do everything, or they want their husband, or their husband does do everything, and she does what she want to do with her money. But practicing paying bills together is responsibility, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, because if you never do it, I'm going to tell y'all something real deep. If you be with somebody, and I'm telling y'all this deep because this is what I personally been through, right? If you be with somebody for 5 years of your life, you never contribute to a bill, you stack your money, or you be foolish with your money, whatever the case may be. If you be with somebody 5 years out of your life and you never contribute to the household and pay a bill, that's not responsibility. Because guess what? I always relate this to my personal self, right? I've personally been through that situation. Then what happens when that person ain't around to pay no bills or no mortgage? What happened? You be with a person 5 years, don't pay no bills, don't contribute nothing to the household, but maybe groceries every now and then, whatever the case may be, and small stuff, right? You keep all of your money, stack all your money. You don't do nothing for 5 years in the home. You don't, and then that person is not there no more. What do? It's easily to say, oh, I'll be fine because I've stacked all my money, whatever case may be, or, I'll be good. Yeah, that's true. I did have money. I wasn't broke, but I was broken mentally. I wasn't physically broke, didn't have no money. 5 years you don't contribute to a household, that man do everything, and then he's not around no more. You have to do every single thing. This is the thing. I crippled myself. You cripple yourself by doing this and not having any type of real responsibility in the home, because this is the thing. Now you don't even know how to adapt. He's going, 5 years is a long time. 3 years is a long time to go through it. You crippled yourself to not be able to adapt to do certain stuff. So now he's going, okay, but you say you have the income, the woman. So she just need to sit back and kind of go back to square one and figure out, okay, with the 5,000 that I make a month, how am I going to work this out and do everything that he was doing in the household in that caliber. So not saying, oh, take 5 or 6, 4 or 5 bills, from hubby, and, like just, oh, go. No, but just have the conversation about paying different stuff together, being responsible. I feel like when you want to be more responsible, when you do mentally and physically train your mind to be more responsible, you're doing nothing but bettering yourself. Because guess what? If you know when things do happen, you're going to be okay because mentally you're going to already know how to adapt. People run away from responsibility because they want to stay crippled, they want to stay comfortable, and oh, I'll figure it out when I need to figure it out. That happened to me before. I'm older and much wiser. I would never play the game like that again. People run away, people stay in a not so nice apartment for $700 or $800 a month because they're comfortable with that. They think $1,100 is a lot of money. No, it's not a lot of money. You waste a lot of money. You do have the $1,100. You just don't want to pay it because you're so comfortable in where you're at. And that's just 1,100 just seemed like a high number to you, but you waste $100 a week doing crazy things where you really could sit back and say, "Oh, that's the money right there where I need going to Amazon every week. That's the money I need right there. Going to my stylist for, maybe I need to downgrade a little bit and stop getting all this fancy stuff until mentally my pockets and physically, mentally I can adapt to this 1,100 and physically my pockets can, make me more comfortable with this 1,100. Then go back to doing your normal thing of what your lifestyle you're accustomed to having. To me, when it comes to lifestyle, your living situation becomes before anything. So the second one would be, guys, you don't have to shy away from responsibility. Have that conversation with your spouse. Who pays what? Who's going to do what? And the last thing I want to address on is too, a lot of times going into relationships or going into marriages is not even discussed of who's going to do what, who's supposed to do this. 90% of the time it's like, oh, you're the husband, you're the provider, he do that, which I totally agree, that's fine. But I do still feel like, people shack up with men and they're not married, but they may shack up with guys. He may bring his kids over on the weekend. She already got kids. Like that's a blended family that's not discussing financial stuff or what's going on. That's a scary thing. So even if it's not a spouse, have the conversation. It's a lot of blended families. Man and woman is not married. He has his kids over, she got her kids over, they live together, they're a family. Is she might got a ring on it, but to the extent that he's putting it on, whatever the case may be. But when he moves into the household with her and her children, she just on the tip like, oh, you live here, you pay the bills. That's fine. A man is supposed to provide. But my thing is why you're not sitting having the conversation. If we can make time to plan trips, we can make time to get cute and go have our date night and take our pictures and make it look like to the world that we're in this lavish relationship. Let it be lavish in real life. Have your money goals in the conversation really to a T, so you not expecting something from somebody that they're not going to do, and vice versa, and have no plans to do. The third one is to talk about money goals. Go back to the basics. And I wanted to touch on this too because sometimes people be in relationships for a while, and maybe or you may be married for a while, or you may be just in a relationship for a while, right? And you may not go back to the basics enough. You may not go back to the basics of talking about, how much debt we have accumulated. What are we going to do next? What is everything looking like right now for us and different things like that. So sometimes going back to the basics, it makes a huge difference. And that's little small talk and communication you can start to gradually do over breakfast or over dinner at home at night or something like that. If the kids are away or something like that, and y'all, it's just y'all two at dinner at home. Sometimes you can put the phones down for 30 minutes and really tap into one another and figure out what's going on. Beat around it with the conversation based on your significant other and how they connect. Put it out there. It's three scenarios I want to talk. No, it's two scenarios really, because with married couples or people that are together, good morning, assalamu alaikum, and are having conversation about being married, buying homes together, and things like this, you have to first figure out and have the communication to know where that person is with it. He may not, his goal may not be to have his dream home in the next 2 years like yours. His goal may not be um, to get all of the credit card bills to a zero balance. His goal may not be pay student loans, they 40,000. Let's get debt free. His financial goals may not be your financial goals. So that needs to be discussed if you're spending 90% of your time with this person. Y'all already married, y'all live in the same household, y'all trying to figure out what's next, or whether y'all just shacking up. And it's somebody you just being with for the time being. Like, what if you like, oh, we fell in love and we decide we're gonna be together, but you never talked about the future. So you have to talk about those things. If you're on Facebook, I have the private chat open. Let me know some feedback on this subject and where you're at with it. So you have to know that other person's, what's the priority to them? What are they expecting? How do they do things? Some men don't deal with bills, or they don't deal with none of that. They just make the money. They like, oh, my wife pay everything, she do everything. I don't think that that's a good thing either. I mean, all women will be like, oh, yeah, I take care of everything. That's fine. But I think that it's a good idea for him to know what's going on in the home, to know what you're doing and the plans that the wife is making. There's nothing wrong with, oh, he's gonna, you have access to the account, you'll have joint account, whatever the case may be. He tells you what accounts to pay the bills from. You handle everything. He's not a finance guy. He's not the money guy. That's fine. But this way, in this world that we live in 2021, is nothing wrong with, as a woman, sitting down and telling your man, babe, we got to start to talk about some small things. I think that you should know what it is that's going on in his house, even though I'm taking care of everything with your money that you made and worked hard for. We love you. We appreciate you. I do. You gave me control of this, and I'm going to do this as my job. But I think that you should express to him and tell him and pass some bills in front of him, bank statements, and let him know what's going on, what you're doing. Because then this is the thing. Later down the line, he's like, oh, well, what do you do with all this money? Da da da. She's spending the change to do what she want to do for herself, which I'm not saying. Everybody's household is different, but I just think that. Good morning, Pure Green Mob. Good morning. I just think that rather than take all the money, keep him in the blind of what's really going on in the home, just share with him. And I hope that he's that type of guy where he really want to know, like, okay, this is really what's going down in the house. And the fourth thing is, work with a financial coach. And okay, so that was a great scenario. If your spouse or your significant other is that person, good morning. That's just like, okay, this, I made the money, you go take care of the business. That's fine. So if you can't, because a lot of people tell me this too, they can't have the money or finance conversation with their spouse or significant other. They have, their spouse or significant other has to hear the information from someone else besides her. So a lot of times, spouse, marriages, they need that third person. So my recommendation to that would be to, good morning, guys. Good morning. My recommendation to that would be to convince him and have him go sit with a financial coach. Like, babe, we need to go talk to somebody. I met you tell them about me. I heard about this girl, Finance Muslima. Like, let's go check out and see what kind of consultation she got going on. Even if it's not with me, you have a lot of African American financial coaches out here, professionals that are educated and work with integrity that you can get in front of to go have some type of financial coaching and get a financial plan going for you and your spouse. A lot of times it may take a third person, which is fine, because a lot of wives be like, oh, I've been telling him that forever. Like, he don't listen to me, da 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 da. You might need to tell him and this, that, and the third. And that's usually how the meetings go with married couples. Like he'll do it. He's not like, guys don't typically do budgeting every week or do a monthly budget. He's like, oh, that's her responsibility. She holds down the house. He don't like to be concerned, which is fine. But I always tell the guys that, you have to have some type of financial control of your personal life as well. That's cool for the wife to do all these things and balance the home, but you have to have some type of education of your own personal finances as well. Because the bottom line is, we go in marriages and we be with people, we fall in love and be in relationships and think we're going to be with this person forever. Everything is going to stay the same. I'm going to be in this comfort zone until I die. But the reality of it, and I talk transparent on my platform, that's not going to happen. And the last one would be to having that financial conversation, focus on the future and not the past. So, it may be hard to have the conversation with him. It may be a little difficult to have the conversation with hubby if you're consistently bringing up old stuff, right? Like, oh, I don't want to hear that. You might get into an argument trying to just figure out some small stuff. Good morning. Good morning. You might get into an argument just talking about some small stuff, right? So the key to that would be, as the woman, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Seriously, let it go. Don't come to the table or try to have a conversation with him or reel him in, focusing on things that happened in the past. He might have messed up. Let it go. Let the past go and just focus on the present so that he could be more open and he can adapt more. And then you're not consistently dragging baggage in the relationship from a financial aspect. He may have convinced you 2 years ago, to buy a used car that he felt was going to be really spectacular for you, and you might have got, a couple years out of it and some good miles, and you're like, oh, we wasted this 15 grand, something like that. That's fine. Things happen. Y'all still together. If anything happened, he got your back. He has another car, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, you'll work it out. But as a woman, like, yeah, we so frustrated. Like, we won our cars, right? I know you was pissed off and you was mad, but it's 2 years later. Don't try to have the money conversation like, oh, babe, we need a new car, or, I'm ready to do this, that, and the third, but I'm gonna do it this time because, yeah, you bought that lemon and we wasted that 15,000. You starting it off wrong already. It ain't gonna work. So don't focus on the past. Only focus on the new when you're trying to have the money conversation, if anything, all conversations. It's just like, related to the same thing as if you're currently with somebody now that cheated on you when you took them back. That's a deep one for y'all. Related to as if you're with someone right now that you say you love so much with your whole heart and they cheated on you when you took them back. Related to that, you're going to forever live in a space of, no trust in a relationship. But if you really trust him and you decided to stay with him after the episode of him cheating, then relate the money conversation the same way to it. Don't come saying like, oh, babe, we need to talk about XYZ, about money and what's going on with the house, and you bringing up what he did 2 years ago. He's not going to want to talk about it. You didn't throw him off already from the rip. I'm going to create you guys some type of freebie cheat sheet for this secret, for the secrets that are kept in the household far as relationships, because like I said again, not just spouses, not just husband and wife, as far as millennial wise as well. The millennials are shacking up. The millennials are buying houses, they're dating, they have children, they're blended families and all these things, and some of them are not married. It's a lot of things financially that's not being talked about coming into these relationships, and it's very, very important because his dreams and goals might not match yours. He don't have to match your dreams and goals to a T, but what he wants to do or what she wants to do may not align with what it is you want to do. And one of you guys might doing crazy things, messing up your credit, swiping out all the money in the bank for things that doesn't make sense. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, what's going on? But you could have known that from the beginning that he wasn't on what you were on. He wasn't into investing. He liked to save all his money. You would know that from the beginning if you had the conversation. So I'm going to create some type of cheat sheet for y'all, expressing. I'm going to create some type of cheat sheet for you guys to get tapped in on talking about the money secrets in relationships, because it is a huge thing. And again, if you are not on the email list and you not connected and get any type of freebies, you can get freebies by clicking the link in the bio and joining my email list. I'm so thankful and grateful for you guys. And also, before I go, to let you know that we have a restock of the Mindset and Money Game financial planners. Some things are doing really well. I'm super grateful for that. If you're in on a private Facebook group, we have an 8-week money challenge going on. The $50 cash prize will be next month to whoever does their $1,000 in 8 weeks. And I'm personally tapped in on a challenge as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm on live like at least 2 or 3 days a week. So a lot of you guys on here on the chat today are new. I don't really see a lot of your faces on here. So set your notifications and follow me. Stay connected. If you need help with anything, I have loads of stuff on the website. If this information is not for you, but you had a really great time tuning into the conversation because you've been here for a while, tag a friend or tell somebody you know that needs the information. Because all your friends and people you connected to, you know what their money situation is. So if they don't listen to you for advice, or they feel you don't know what you're talking about because they know you, connect them to a financial coach such as myself. And the last thing too, it is really early to say, but if you're in the Charlotte area, I'm going to drop my office location to you guys soon. Not a lot of people really know, but yeah, so I've been always had office space for other people or waited for other people to invest in my own office space, or whatever the case may be. But 2021 I stepped out and did a lot of things on my own. So my girls, we got some great stuff lined up of how we want to drop this stuff, and I'm just really looking forward to being a Black owned financial services firm in Charlotte, North Carolina first. And I speak this into existence when I say that I'm definitely going to add new locations on the map, because amongst traveling, like, that's just all I'm looking for. Like, what state, still has too much poverty? We got to get in and help each other. So if you are not connected in that aspect, that's another thing you probably would do. Get access to part of email list, and also the YouTube channel. You can click the link in the bio and stay connected with that as well. Thank you guys for joining me. I love you as always. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend that needs some financial help. This is the place to come to for your resources. And I love y'all, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful day.